Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Today I'm going to show you 4 different and easy ways to roast your peanuts or groundnuts on the stovetop. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using raw red skin peanuts or groundnuts. I'm going to measure 4 cups of the peanuts, each cup for each demonstration. Feel free to look through the peanuts to ensure that it is clean. So I'm going to heat up some water on medium-high heat and bring it to a boil to blanch the peanuts. Once the water comes to a boil, I'm going to take it off heat and salt it. The water should be very salty. If the water is not salty, it is not going to transfer onto the peanuts. So I'm just going to stir it and make sure it is properly mixed. Then give it a taste. If it is salty enough, I'm going to add the peanuts. There are different ways to salt peanuts, but this is the way I learned how to do it when I was younger. So I'm going to let it soak in the water for about 5 to 7 or even 10 minutes. I will just stir it once in a while. Then after 5 to 7 minutes, I'm just going to drain it. I don't know if you guys have noticed the peanuts are bigger than the original size. I'm gonna get rid of the water because we don't need it anymore. I'm gonna let the peanuts continue to drain. Then afterwards, spread the peanut evenly on the tray to air dry it. You can leave it out under the sun to air dry, but I'm gonna be doing mine under the fan. So while the peanut is air drying, let's talk about the things that we're going to roast them in. Firstly is salt. Then you can use, this is cornmeal. You can use Gary if you have that. But I prefer to use the cornmeal because after roasting the peanuts in the cornmeal, you can use it to make dankwa. I will also be using sand, which is a more traditional method in frying peanuts. So about this sand, I got it from inside the ocean. I have a full video on how to treat it before using it, so that you can have peace of mind. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box. You can check it out later. So these are what I'm gonna be using plus one more method. The peanuts are ready after air drying them under the fan for about 3 hours. So it is time to roast the peanuts. I'm gonna start with the salt method. Just add enough salt, enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Then heat it up on medium or medium-high heat until the salt is hot. After 2 to 3 minutes, the salt should be hot enough. If you want to check, just hover your hand above the pan. If you can feel the heat, you know it is hot enough. Then I'm gonna add the peanuts and start frying. One thing you should know about frying peanuts is that you have to babysit it. It is not something that you're gonna leave and walk away from it. No, you have to stir it frequently so that they will develop a uniform color, because if you let the peanuts sit for a long time, some parts are going to be burnt. So you have to stir it constantly so that there will be uniform color all over the peanuts. But you can take a break once in a while, but you cannot walk away from it. If it's just a few seconds, a few minutes to rest your arm, yeah, but you have to babysit the peanuts. If not, you're gonna see different burnt spots on the peanuts if you walk away from the peanuts. When you start noticing a change in color, once in a while, check to see if it is ready by peeling off the skin. If it is ready, it's gonna peel off easily, but if it is not, you're gonna notice some resistance. So let us check it one more time. As you can see, it peeled off easily, so the peanut is ready. And I fried the peanut for 13 minutes. So I'm gonna separate the peanut from the salt by sifting out the salt. Try as much as possible to shake off excess salt from the peanuts. Then I'm gonna spread it out to cool down. While it is cooling down, I'm gonna move on to the next method. For this method, I'm gonna be using cornmeal. Like I said earlier, you can use Gary, but if you are using Gary, you don't have to sift it because Gary is not dusty. To sift out the fine parts of the cornmeal, you have to use a fine sieve. Although this is a double layered sieve, it is actually a fine sieve because the top is finer. The reason why I am sifting it is to remove the fine dusty part of it, because cornmeal has a fine dusty whitish part. You don't want it on your peanuts. And even though it is not going to totally eliminate the problem, but it is going to reduce it. Look at it. This is what will coat your peanut if you don't sift it like this. So I'm just going to continue sifting until I've gotten enough to fry my peanuts in. See, as you can see, it is less dusty. So I'm going to use the coarse part to fry the peanuts. So just like I did with the salt, I'm going to heat it up for 2 to 3 minutes. Once it is hot enough, I'm going to put my peanuts in and start frying. So it is just the same process. The only difference I've noticed between the salt and the cornmeal method is that it takes a longer time to get it fried when you're using the cornmeal. Like I said earlier, we're not doing anything different. It's the same thing. The only difference is what we're frying the peanuts in. Let me use this opportunity to send a very special shout out to all those that have subscribed. You guys are the best. I love you. Thank you and God bless you. And don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms. Thank you. One good thing about using cornmeal is that you're cooking the cornmeal and the peanuts at the same time. The roasted cornmeal can be used to make other things like quick dankwa. Like I said earlier, peel the peanuts to see if it is ready. If the skin comes off easily, that means it is ready. So it's the same thing we're doing here. Since it is ready, I'm going to sift out the cornmeal and then spread the peanuts to cool down. So the length of time I used in roasting these peanuts is 25 minutes. For the cornmeal, I'm going to spread it out to cool down. Once it cools down, I'm going to sift it to remove the skin of the peanuts and store it in an airtight container. So the next method is the traditional way of frying peanuts with sand. This is an ancient and more traditional way of frying peanuts in so many cultures. So I'm just going to heat up the sand the way I heated up the other ones. So when it's hot enough, then I'm going to add my peanuts and start roasting. This is more sand than I need, but I just decided to use the whole content of the bag. And as usual, after 2 to 3 minutes, you can hover your hand above it to check to see if it is hot enough, then add the peanuts. So we are practically repeating the same thing as we did with the 2 other methods. So I'm just going to fry the peanuts until they develop a darker shade and the skin peels off easily. Nowadays, I have noticed that a lot of people don't want to cook with sand because they are irritated with what people do with the sand or even on the sand. I totally get it. Anyone would be irritated. But there is a way you can clean the sand before using it that will put your mind at ease and not be irritated. I have a video on how to clean and sanitize your sand, and I'm gonna leave the link in the description box. You can check it out later. And in case you don't know it, most of the groundnut you buy from the store, from the market, were fried with sharp sand. You should also know that sharp sand is not the type of sand you go gather from the street. It is something you get from the river. So you either go buy it from the store or go gather some from a construction site. So don't be too irritated because the sand is practically clean. And as usual, after frying it for a while and there's a change in color, start checking to see if it is done by peeling off the skin. When it comes off easily, that means it is done. Because sand is a good conductor of heat, I fried the peanut for about 15 minutes, but you could fry it longer if you want it to be darker. After sifting out the sand, shake off any excess sand from the peanuts or hiding between the peanuts. Then spread it out to cool down. In case you don't want to use any of the 3 methods I've shown you, there's an easy way to fry your peanuts. Just fry it in an empty pan. Most of the time when I fry peanuts, I normally fry my peanuts in an empty pan and it usually turns out good. It is well fried and crunchy. So at this point, you guys already know the drill. We're just going to be repeating the same thing. Stirring it, make sure it doesn't burn, and when there's a change in color, keep checking the skin. If it peels off easily, then you know it is ready. Then you're gonna spread it out to cool down before peeling off the skin. So that is what we're just doing. Most of the time when I roast my peanut in a pan like this, it is because I want to use it to make something, cook something, or make something. So I don't roast my peanuts like this and put it in a bottle, because most of the time you see dark spots, you see all those burn spots, and they don't look pretty. So when I want to make my groundnut soup or dankwa, this is the method I use. So if you are looking to roast your peanuts and put them in a bottle, this method is not the best method for you. And as usual, once the peanuts develop a darker shade, you can start checking the skin. If the skin comes off easily, that means it is ready. You can spread it out to cool down. So I roasted the peanuts for about 20 minutes over medium heat. So all the peanuts are ready. They have cooled down. This is the one I just made, the one fried in the pan. Look at it. This other one is the one I fried in the salt. Very dry, bone dry, crunchy. To me, this is my favorite. It is tastier and it is crunchier. This one is the one fried in the cornmeal. It is very crunchy. As you can see, I told you there's a little coating, but it comes off when you peel off the skin of the peanut. So you don't have to bother about the dusty coating that much. So this is the one fried in the traditional way with sand. They are all crunchy. You can choose whichever method you prefer. You can fry your peanuts with sand, salt, cornmeal, gari, even in an empty pan. I don't know how many people eat their peanuts with the skin on, especially when it is roasted, but I prefer to eat my peanuts without the skin on. So if you want to peel off the skin of peanuts and you have never done it before, this is how it is done. Just rub off the skin with your hand and the skin will come off. And once the skin is off, you can blow out the shaft. So if this is your first time on my channel, or you are a returning viewer and you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button and on the notification bell so that you can get an alert whenever I post a video. Like and share the video. Thank you and God bless you. Sometimes some of them don't come off easily, so you have to go in and do it individually. So I'm going to peel off all the peanuts so that you can see them naked and decide for yourself which method you prefer. So this one is the one I fried in the pan without anything. As you can see, there's a lot of discoloration. It doesn't look pretty or presentable, but it is crunchy. So this one is the one roasted with salt. As you can see, it has the uniform color. And like I told you earlier, I prefer this because it is tastier. I don't know if it is the salt too. See? Pretty uniform color. So if you have watched the video to this point and you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Like and share the video. Didn't you enjoy watching it? Please subscribe. Thank you. And again, this is the salt method. Are they not so beautiful? So this is the one roasted in cornmeal. I'm just going to do the same thing. Blow out the skin, then show you the final product. The beauty of frying the peanut in some form of medium gives the peanut a uniform color. Look at this. Is this not beautiful? Last but not the least, the peanut roasted in sand. So I'm just gonna peel it off like the other ones and show you how it looks when it is naked. See? Pretty uniform color, crunchy. So I'm gonna show you all the peanuts side by side. The first one is roasted in an empty pan, the second one salt, the other one cornmeal, then the last one is with the sand. So now it is up to you to choose whichever method works for you. So in case you want to roast peanut, why don't you give one or two of this method a try? I promise you, you're gonna love it. So thank you guys for watching. Till I see you next time. Stay safe, stay blessed. I love you. Bye.